It's just a mask. My version. It's just a mask, you guys. Don't be a jerk. It's for the greater good. It's just a vaccine, you guys. Don't be a jerk. It's for the greater good. In 4 months, the U.S. has almost transformed into an obedient socialist country. The government dictated what social events were acceptable to attend. Violent protests that instill fear are okay. Church services, family funerals, and patriotic celebrations are, however, dangerous. And most of you bought it without a fight. Standing in a graduation line is a safety hazard. Small businesses were forced to close, but crowds to support the corporate money machine like Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot are allowed. Come on, it's just a mask. And safety precautions. How about a little hush money? Here's $2,400 that we stole out of your paycheck in the first place. Use it to buy something from a big corporation. Cash is dirty. We can't give change. There's a coin shortage. Use your card. Unless there is a cash tip jar. In 4 months, they have convinced you to use a traceable card for almost everything. In less than 4 months, governments have closed public schools, then restructured education under the guise of public safety. In less than 4 months, our government demonstrated how easily people assimilate to guidelines that have no scientific premise whatsoever, because they were fearful. In less than 4 months, our government successfully instilled fear in the majority of the population of America that allows them to control every aspect of your life, including what you eat, where you go, who you see, and how much toilet paper you buy. And the most dangerous and terrifying part is that people are not afraid of this government who removed their freedom. They're afraid of their neighbors, family and friends, and they hate those who won't comply. It's absolutely terrifying to me that people don't question authority. They are willing to surrender their critical thinking skills and independence. They just gave up without thinking, without a fight. Do you know what's coming next? It's just a vaccine. Come on. It's for the greater good. Wait until you're told that you can't enter any store or business without proof of the vaccine. Wait until you can't go to public events or get on a plane without proof of receiving the vaccine. Don't think it's possible? You've already allowed the government to say when you can go outside and when your children can take part in a new digital education, and this was just in the last 100 days, and you followed blindly because you were told to do so. You're kidding yourself if you think this mass behavior won't be repeated with a vaccine or whatever the next step is.
See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Once they have popular control, they have the masses. I'm sure there are many people who know that they should do something, but it's always been easier to ignore it than fight back. We've seen it in other countries throughout the years, but it could never happen here in America, right? They have thought without a fight. Just about everyone around you and everyone walking the streets right now gave in and went with the herd. They didn't do this because they were afraid, they did it because they were lazy. Being lazy is always easier and is built on compromise. This time, however, is different. Sure, you're comfortable sitting on your couch watching streaming movies, but consider this. Outside your house, almost nothing is happening. There are almost no sports anywhere. The city basketball courts are empty. The park baseball fields are empty. Soccer fields, skateboard parks, volleyball courts, nothing is being used. And the professionals, the one who gets paid to play these games for a living, they are scrambling for answers. How exactly do you not pack people into a stadium or arena and still make money? No box seats, no concessions, no place to walk up and buy a ticket, a reduced schedule, and if you have an enclosed stadium, you are screwed. You get nothing. Almost every musical group in the world right now is stuck in a studio, working on albums that they can release, but can't tour to promote. How does that work? And it goes much further than thousands of fans who aren't allowed into arenas. Every celebrity who has a talk show with a studio audience is on hold, and all of these groups are interconnected. Big budget movies, as you knew them, are currently dead. Not because the studios can't break virus protocols and put film teams together. The movie theaters have been crippled for months. As long as the perceived virus threat exists, they won't be able to open at even half capacity. Oh, and the only way theaters turn a profit is from popcorn and soda, which they can't sell you. Every school from primary to university is currently lost at sea with no compass. No one has a clue how to open their institutions without breaking protocol because their systems were literally designed to pack as many kids into one place as possible. Everything from small classrooms to lunchrooms to gymnasiums were built with the exact opposite of social distancing in mind. How in the hell do you reverse that and educate at the same time without rebuilding all the schools from scratch? You don't. They don't have the money or time. The ideas being floated around now literally turn an average school into a social distance circus. Temperature checks at the door, no changing rooms, eat lunch at your desk, designated bathroom breaks, no sports, no assemblies, no buses, no dances. You come in, you sit down, you shut up, you leave. It all sounds like a dystopian movie, but it isn't. It's very real, and by the way, how do you convince any kid under 4th grade not to be next to other kids? And don't get me started on churches. Almost all of them went down without a word of protest. For the greater good, of course. How did they do it? How did the powers that rule this world accomplish all this and much more? They told you that there was a threat, and you believed them. They first told you that masks were useless. Then a month later, they said that masks were life-saving. They said that social distancing was critical. If you had a party at your house, they could invoke contact tracing and fine you. But if you were protesting human rights issues in the streets, then you could inhale tear gas and hack up a lung on the people next to you with no penalties. And while you were focusing on masks and people tearing down statues and hoping to God you didn't run out of toilet paper, thousands and thousands of businesses were shutting down for good because they depended on people walking through their doors. And if you were listening to this, you've probably realized that most of those masked people walking the streets now aren't people at all. They are just shadows with what used to be faces. The herd. The sheep who will do just about anything that the media tells them because that's what they were programmed to do. Anyone that is voluntarily wearing a mask at this stage is a mindless drone who couldn't think for themselves if their life depended on it. That is not an exaggeration. You wanted to know who the NPCs are? Now you have your answer. They are all around you. They are the masses, the mob, and they are just a few loud noises away from an all-out purge-like panic. If you understand that, then you need to brace yourself. The levels of this pressure cooker we are currently in are rising, not falling. Things only get stranger from here. There are plans within plans within plans. Pay attention to not only what you see, but what you don't see. There will be more warnings in the months to come, so for now, let me end with this. Figure out who your friends are and who you can trust. Don't make any long-term plans or international trips. Make sure you have extra of everything, and no matter what, don't panic. You are the Awoken, and at the very least will go into the storm with both eyes open. And while you're at it, get a black t-shirt that says 2020. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.